guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Today we're going to go over the best 5 epic champions for all of the 4 traditional dungeons: Spider, Dragon, Ice Golem, and Fire Knight. First off, how you guys doing? Welcome to the video. I am doing fantastic. I just got back from a little mini road trip. I had pre-recorded a couple of videos to tide you guys over, but went to Maine last minute the day of, and I saw Air Supply. Anybody know Air Supply? Maybe one of you viewers. They're like in their 70s and still doing their thing, so that was pretty fun, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, man. I'm not ashamed to admit I like music of all kind, man. Music is my life. Outside of Raid Shadow Legends and YouTube and stuff and all the stuff that goes with it, my real passion in life is music of all kinds, of all genres, from classical to hip-hop to, you know, Air Supply. I'm there, you know. On to the video here. Again, we have these traditional dungeons. Not much has changed in these dungeons. By the way, do you guys think that this Void Tower, whatever the heck it's gonna be, do you think this will be open this year? This is my question to you guys. Will Void Tower be available to play in here in 2022? Yes or no?
I'm very tempted to ask you, but I doubt I would get the truth, would I?
Should I post a community tab poll? Maybe I will. So we talk about the old school dungeons again. We're talking about these 4 dungeons. In terms of difficulty, I would say, personally speaking, I know you guys are all going to disagree with me, but I think Ice Golem is the most difficult because he puts out the most damage on those AoE attacks. Second is going to be, in Fire Knight and Spider, they're tied, because it depends on what champions you have. You have Allure and Cold Heart, you're looking pretty good, you know, for Fire Knight. If you have 3 Royal Guards and a Septimus, you're looking pretty good for Spider's Den. We'll talk about all these viable strategies. Dragon's Lair, I do think, is the easiest. So let's go ahead and start out with easy peasy here and talk about my top 5. What do I have? A new champion here? What do I? Who's new? Why is it? Oh, I have a, wait. Where is it? Oh man, right in front of my eyes. Okay.
You know, you just gotta learn to let these things go.
So who are my top champions for Dragon's Lair? Number 1, we're gonna kick it old school here, guys. What am I looking for? Poison. I'm looking for a little bit of support here. By the way, quick timeout. Seer. She could be on any of and all of these lists, man. She's the damage dealing queen, especially Ice Golem, Dragon, and Fire Knight. I'm not gonna include her on any list. I'm just gonna tell you guys ahead of time. Seer is the queen, the god of the game. Karma Burn is the best nuking ability for waves, bar none, inside the entire game. So Seer, we love you. You are absolutely amazing. Plarium, if you're watching, never ever change Seer, please. Thank you. All right. That's out of the way with. Also, the only rule that I'm kind of making for myself here, we're not going to use duplicate champions on different teams, right? So I'm not going to have Seer. Same thing with every other champion. I'm also only going to include 1 debuffer per list. So otherwise, I'm not going to have like Stag Knight and Tyrell on every single team, okay? So number 1 is going to be Mausoleum Mage. Way back in the day, some of you old school players might remember this, but people didn't know that Mausoleum Mage was good. It's kind of embarrassing looking back now in 2019, 2018, 2019. We're just like, he's kind of all right, you know? Dude, he has decreased speed. He has increased crit rate, increased defense, and block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. This is an epic champion, not legendary, ladies and gentlemen, because it gets even better. On a 4-turn cooldown, we get a great heal, we get a great cleanse, and then we have fills turn meters by 15% if 2 or more debuffs are removed from that ally. Oh my god. So we get bonus heals, we get bonus turn meter, we get a full cleanse, we get a great heal, we get increased crit rate, defense, block buffs, decreased speed. Are you kidding me? Very, very good champion, right? Every time you look at him, you're reminded, wow, Mausoleum Mage is really dang good. All right, next up is gonna be Zargala, another old school legacy. Actually, I take it all back. No, I'm there. I thought we were starting with Spider for a second. I'm like, why am I talking about these champions? We're starting with the easiest dungeon, Dragon. And Zargala's a great choice. Why did I go with Zargala as my nuker when there are great champions like Tyrell out there? Really, it's because I love the damage she brings to the table, and she brings decreased defense and weaken. Lastly, her affinity is good, right? Meaning that she's good against stage 20 or 25 of the no spirit affinity that you have to contend with. So I love Zargala. Again, she has an accuracy aura. You can use this accuracy aura, in the beginning of the game. In progression, if you don't have some great haul development on your accuracy category under force affinity, just accuracy auras in general are always really helpful in progression in this game. Very high multiplier on this A2. Also instantly activates to A3 if you kill somebody. A3 is a dependable decreased defense on an AoE, and as we mentioned on the A1, we have a 50% chance each time of placing the big version of Weaken. So again, Weaken and decreased defense in our Zargala's kit with a lot of damage. Champion number 3 is going to be a little bit more niche, a little bit more of a specialist, and it is Taurus. I guess only outshined by who's a better epic poison champion. One of them or two of them might be on this list next to champions. Other than that, I would say he's better than Aothar. He's, yeah, I can't think of any other really good poisoners. I guess Occult Brawler, right? But anyway, Taurus on, you know, a clan boss, give me Occult Brawler. Taurus on a shorter battle, a dragon run, give me Taurus. He has an AoE weaken on the A2. On the A1, he has a heal if they're under poison, which is great. Obviously, again, the dragon is very susceptible, very vulnerable to poison damage. And here it is, Toxic Nova, 4-turn cooldown, receives 99% damage equal to his current HP, and unkillable for 2 turns, and then 4 big versions of poison on all enemies for 2 turns. So Taurus can be a great dependable poison layer for you guys, for the dragon. Speaking of poison, we got Eurogrim. Eurogrim has a single target cleanse and heal. He also has poison on the A1. He also has 2 poisons on all enemies on the A3 with a continuous heal on all allies. So you're getting poison, we're getting cleanse, we're getting heals, we're getting more poison. We also have a speed aura on Eurogrim. Even after the nerf, this guy's still a boss when it comes to healing, support, and poison damage. And we love poison damage. We love healing. We love support. We love it all.
It got weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to include a bunch of Doom Tower champions, but how can I not round things off here with Dragon's Lair for Dark Kael? Dark Kael, of course, a Doom Tower champion. I wish they just dropped fragments on secret rooms in Doom Tower instead of the champions. That way you can choose the order of the champions you want to unlock. Either way, I've mentioned that before. Just trying to kind of take my moment to stand on my soapbox about that idea. Again, let me know if you like it, if you dislike it. I don't think they'd ever go for it, but I would love to see Dark Kael more available quickly to more players out there. Either way, eventually you will get him. He's a 3-time hitter, making him viable also for Fire Knight on his A1. Instantly activates poison and HP burns, 2 of them, not bad. AoE decrease attack, also has a chance to increase, or 100% chance when booked, of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. So a debuff extender on the A2. On the A3, we have 3 more poisons and a poison sensitivity on a 3-turn cooldown. This dude's all about the poison, can also cut off the 15% crit rate of the dragon, not to deal with those really hard hitting attacks that he can sometimes throw if he gets that small chance at a crit. So let's move on to Ice Golem next, guys. Ice Golem, again, I personally think is the hardest dungeon. He just hits really hard. You have to always kind of juxtapose the damage that you're putting out and also keeping your team alive, right? If you don't have enough support, your team will just wipe. Too much damage, you'll wipe quickly against the Ice Golem. That's what makes him a little bit challenging, especially if you want a faster team, if you want to start improving those, 10-minute times, right? So Ugo is great at that. She has block buffs on all enemies, decreased defense. More importantly, she has a leech on the A1, and she also has a remove all heal reduction debuffs, and then removes another random debuff. So you don't have to worry about heal reduction that the Ice Golem can throw on you in the Ice Golem battle minions, and then you also get the heal on top of that. So you get the cleanse, you get the double cleanse, and then you get the heal. So a lot of support along with the decreased defense, along with the block buffs. Very handy champion, really anywhere in the game. I feel like I say it every time that I mention her, but she is my favorite champion added last year. I think she's just absolutely incredible. Next champion is actually Ox the Rememberer, Aox the Rememberer. So very good champ, sneaky good champion. Let me know if you want to see a guide on this dude, because I have not done a full proper guide on Aox, but he's really good, not just for Ice Golem, but really in a variety of different areas. People think clan boss when they think of this champion, but just an overall great support champion. Has a poison on his A1, on the A2, attacks 1 enemy, and then heals all allies by 10% of their max HP. But wait, it heals each ally an extra 2.5% for each debuff on the target. So Lore of Restoration, this A2, great synergy as long as you're putting a bunch of other either poison dealers or debuffers on your squad. So you build the right team around him, this can actually turn out to be a fairly massive heal, okay? On the A3, we have a decreased attack on all enemies for 2 turns, also has a 75% chance, 100 win booked, of decreasing the target's turn meter by 20%, places a decreased crit rate on the target for 2 turns if they have 50% or more turn meter after the decrease. So again, we already talked about it, 30% decreased crit rate will totally neuter the Ice Golem in terms of landing critical hits against your team. Decreased attack is going to be amazing in terms of damage mitigation. And this champion, man, he's all about damage mitigation and keeping your team alive at the same time. Increase the duration of 2 random debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn when attacked. Again, very helpful for the Ice Golem. This is the type of support champion that can make a profound difference on you and your team, especially if you're wiping against the Ice Golem. A champion that you can use in a lot of other areas in the game as well. So definitely want to throw a lot of love to Aox. All right, next up is going to be my debuffer choice for the Ice Golem is actually going to be none other than Duck the Pierced. So Duck the Pierced is an incredible champion, man. He's got an A2 kind of a la Stag Knight. Decrease attack and decrease defense on that A2 with an AoE attack damage based on defense. The only kind of caveat to this A2 being so amazing is it has to be a critical hit to land the decreased defense, okay? So he's going to operate best when he is the strong affinity or at least a neutral affinity, and that is the case, of course, in most areas of Ice Golem. So Duck the Pierce is a great champion, also getting through the waves, places a provoke debuff for 1 turn on the target enemy, has a 100% chance of placing a provoke
100% chance of
or excuse me, 75, no books, debuff for 1 turn on 2 random additional enemies. So again, 3 out of 4 chance of landing 2 additional provokes rather than just the 1 on the A3. We also have a reflect damage and an unkillable on himself. So not a bad ability. Some people turn this ability off when using him. Others, if you need it, you use it. Also has defense and faction crypts, obviously not going to help you out in dungeons, but a great faction war champion for the Orc faction as well. He also on the A1 has a decreased accuracy, which can also be helpful, a nice kind of final addition to his kit. But I always love abilities. There's not that many out there that have decreased attack and defense on the same AoE attack. I think him and Stag are going to be the only epic champions in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong there. All right, next up is going to be a really fun champion. It's Fenax, and he's Sacred Order, not Barbarian Ash. Does he look like a Barbarian, Ash? Does he look like a Barbarian to you?
Do I?
Fenax, a very hard-hitting A1, right? Put down, can kill one of the minions, and then it blocks revival, right? So you can kill one of the Ice Golem's minions. Now, when you kill the minions, not only do you not have to deal with them and their damage and their debuffs, but also that's going to mitigate the extra crit damage or ignoring defense from the Ice Golem, depending on how many minions are still alive. So having a deny revival will stop them from being revived and keep your team alive as well, right? On the A2, we have an AoE with block buffs. Also plays block active skills for 1 turn if block buffs does not land. On the A3, decreased defense and speed, both great debuffs for the Ice Golem on that A3 again. So Fenax or Fenax or however you say his name, either way, not only is he a handsome, strapping young lad,
Yeah, ready to be naughty.
but he's also, he's ready to go in Ice Golem dungeon. Next up is going to be, oh man, it's an oldie but a goodie. Not a legacy champion, but close to. It's Miscreated Monster from the first Halloween, maybe second, of Raid Shadow Legends. Miscreated Monster, I love putting him on my Ice Golem teams, guys. Has a decreased defense on his A1, has Ally Protect, heals himself as well. Ally Protect is great, you just gotta keep him alive. He can take some serious damage. So we need a little bit more than just Ally Protect. What can we get? How about a great shield? How about one of the better shields in the game on Miscreated Monster? And what's best about Miscreated Monster is I almost put him on Spider because he's so good in Spider's Den for the same reason. His shield increases in value depending on how much damage he's putting out. So ergo, if there's a lot of mobs alive on the dungeon that you're facing, wherever you're using him, you're gonna get more bang for your buck out of that shield. So you're getting a great shield on that A2. That is gonna be the difference of keeping your team alive against the Ice Golem, against his hard-hitting attacks. Miscreated Monster, I used him for a long time on my Ice Golem team and on my Spider team. Speaking of Spider, let's talk about those champions right now here, guys. Let's start out with Demonspawn and go with Akoth the Seer. So Akoth the Seer is a Spider specialist. He's a second Doom Tower normal champion, secret room champion. On his A1, decreased crit rate, okay. On the A2, an AoE, 20% chance of placing an HP burn. 20%, that's not enough. Oh, the chance of placing a debuff increases by 20% for each enemy alive. Now you see why I say he is built just for Spider, because with all those Spiderlings, you're going to be landing HP burn, ideally on all enemies off of this A2. On the A3, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance when booked of increasing the cooldown of all skills by 2 turns on enemies under HP burn. Also plays a shield buff equal to 20% of this champion's max HP on all allies. So really for me, the attack is nice, increasing cooldowns is okay, it's nice, it's good, but really it's all about that shield on the A3 as well. So he brings that Miscreated shield, not quite as strong, but still a nice shield to have, especially depending, I guess it's depending on how much HP he has, right? And then on the A2, again, letting HP burn very dependably, great for Spider 24, where it's most efficient to use your energy. Also has a chance of placing fear on an enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from an HP burn debuff placed on themselves. So very cool passive there as well, potentially CCing the enemies while we're at it. Next up is going to be, well, we gotta talk about one of the max HP champions, and who better than Royal Guard. Royal Guard ironically could have been on the Fire Knight list as well, because he's using the fastest Fire Knight team right now in the game, but I mean, it's all about takedown. Takedown is amazing. Fire Knight, by the way, he has decreased speed, and turn meter control in the A3. Great for Fire Knight, and the damage is good too. But really, this damage is just amazing at its best against the Spider, right? It's what kills all those Spiderlings and does massive damage to the Spider. Attack in dungeons by 35%, deserves a call out as well. It's one of the highest attack auras inside the entire game. So, you know, what better champion to have a great attack aura for dungeons when he's doing all that damage as well. I run him as my aura lead. Royal Guard is amazing. All right, next up is going to be our first dwarf of the video, and it is Geomancer. So Geomancer you can obviously use in Spider 20, anywhere that you want to use an HP burn strategy, because he fully depletes the target's turn meter, which is great against the Spider. Even, you know, Spider 21 through 25, that turn meter depletion, even though it's not 100%, still going to help you out a lot, right? And then he has a 100% chance of placing HP burn and a weaken debuff on the target for 3 turns. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. Remove all buffs from the target, then attacks them. Steals all buffs instead if the target is under HP burn. Reduces the cooldown of Quicksand Grasp on the A3. Blah, blah, blah.
Stop right there.
That is what I want.
On the A1, an AoE decreased accuracy, so he's an AoE attack with decreased accuracy, great for the Spiderlings, and then he's doing damage also off of the Stone Guard passive that he's really well known for. So Geomancer, just one of the coolest champions added in all of last year. Very good champion. Next up is going to be not Undead Horde, but rather Demonspawn. It is, why isn't it in alphabetical order here, huh? Well, it's Achak the Wenderin. Achak is incredible, guys. Has block debuffs, has strength, and that's great. Has an AoE with freeze or HP burn, depending on if their attack is higher than their defense. And then check out this Twisted Hunger, man. He can put out so much in terms of heals here. Heals all allies by 5% of their max HP every time an enemy under HP burn gets a turn. And then fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% every time an enemy under freeze debuff gets a turn. Really insane champion. Ally defense in all battles as well. You pair him with the next guy that we talk about, might as well just talk about him right now. You are looking so good. These guys can solo or duo Spider 25 together, Mordecai and Achak the Wenderin. Mordecai is widely considered to be the best Spider 25 HP burn that you can get on your squad. On the A2, has a 100% chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies by 15%, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. Doesn't sound like a ton compared to some of the other abilities like this in the game, but it's really helpful and a nice addition to his kit because the A3, we have a 100% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places an increased attack buff on all allies for 3 turns. So that's a great ability, is placing that debuff, meaning it's not predicated on having a critical hit. Very, very good champion. One of the best in the game in terms of burners for Spider. Mordecai is the burner that I use. So we had Geo, Akoth, Mordecai, Royal Guard, and Achak. Let's go on to the last dungeon, guys, and it is going to be Fire Knight. So I want to start out with a new champion here on the list, another new champion. It's going to be Fenshi. What? Fenshi?
Oh, won't you stay?
Finally! That's right, Fenshi. On his A1, has a 3-time hitter with decreased speed. Decreased speed, so effective against the Fire Knight. Great for Fenshi to have. On the A2, attack 1 enemy 3 times again. Each hit has a 75% chance of decreasing target's turn meter by 15%. So again, this is on a 2-turn cooldown on Nowhere to Run. Another 3-time hitter. You're going to get his shield down so quickly having Fenshi on your squad. In addition to that, we get now turn meter depletion and decreased speed in his kit, both are which are paramount to having success against, again, the Fire Knight to keep that shield down. On the A3, now we have a 2-time hitter. A 2-time hitter, each hit places a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns. On a 3-turn cooldown, we'll ignore 10% of the target's defense for each poison debuff on the target. So that's Killer's Bite. Decent multipliers there as well, so it can be a damage dealer plus the poison. Also can help get that shield down very, very quickly. Quicker and faster than most champions out there. So Fenshi is definitely a specialist. He's not very strong anywhere outside of Fire Knight, but definitely wanted to point him out to you guys. Now let's just get to it, guys. The best Fire Knight champion inside the entire game, bar none, is Allure. Really, just for her A1. When I use Fire Knight, and I use Allure on my main team, I don't even have her use her A3. I just go between the A2 and the A1. A3 does not hit that hard considering she has almost 1600 base attack. Is pretty insane, but of course, some people do use it. You can absolutely use it if you want to as well. But either way, Psychic Whip, her A1 attacks 3 times at random, decreases target's turn meter by 25% on each hit. That is the queen bee of all crowd control inside the game. So unique that it's on her A1. She will automatically AI customization. Just go in there and use that A1 anytime the shield is down. She is the best Fire Knight champion. You can totally you can just totally kill him, right? You can just keep that shield down. Get the shield down once, and then Allure's got you covered, right? Especially if you build her fast enough. Next up is going to be, I mentioned him earlier in the video, but Stag Knight is my favorite champion for the Fire Knight. Has a 2-time hitter with decreased speed. We already talked about how paramount decreased speed is against the Fire Knight in particular, because again, we want him to go slow. That way his turn meter is not going up fast. Therefore, he gets his shield back up in front of him, right? So on the A2, it's simple but effective kit. Stag Knight is still one of my favorite epic champions, still one of the strongest epic champions in the game. Decrease defense, decrease attack. Thank you very much. Also has a pretty cool passive, lead the pack. All right, next up is going to be a champion that, man, I should have added probably in another dungeon earlier, but I really sneakily like Vogoth in Fire Knight, right? Has a 3-time hitter on his A1. We love 3 and 4-time hitters. Talk about Coal Tar, Apothecary, champions like Fenshi, you know? Each hit has a 40% chance of increasing the duration of a random debuff on the target by 1 turn. Not bad. We have an AoE Provoke. And then we have a, whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received, 25% from bosses, but still can be massive heals for your team against the Fire Knight or anywhere for that matter. On the A4, or the second passive, if you will, when attacked, plays a leech debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. If the attacker is under provoke, placed by this champion, not going to pertain, but does have a chance to reduce the cooldown of a random skill of the attacker by 2 turns. But we're placing a leech every time as well. That will help the rest of the team heal themselves up. I really think that Vogoth is the best healer out there for Fire Knight. Specifically because, you know, not just the leech, not just from the Festering Dynamo, his first passive, but having that triple hitter on the A1 as well just makes him the complete package for Fire Knight. Also has accuracy in all battles by 40 if you need the extra accuracy. Last up on today's video on the list is gonna be the Fat Man. Ally attack is a great strategy. I could have picked like Skull Crusher as well. Having counterattack is really great, but Fakarin the Fat is a tremendous champion for the Fire Knight. Again, an ally attack epic champion, places increased crit rate, increased damage on all allies for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Then all allies except this champion will attack 1 target enemy. So if you're getting, you know, multiple hitters on the A1s of everybody else on your team, or at least a few other champions, just with one ability, you can take that shield down using Fakarin the Fat on your team. So I had to give him a big call out here. I really like this champion. Let me know if you want to see a guide on him, guys. We have HP burn and has this 100% chance of placing an HP burn debuff and 2 poison debuffs for 2 turns on the A2. So he's also bringing a little bit of damage to the table outside just his A3. And then we have a decreased defense on his A1, so he can be your debuffer for the Fire Knight once you get that shield down. His passive mitigates the damage that comes onto him as well. He can be a little difficult to keep alive with that small 14.5 base HP. All right, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Which champion that you use in these dungeons did I leave off? Let me know where I was wrong in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.